Hey guys, so this video, the purpose of it is to help you write a procedure for this flame lab. So I'm going to run through step by step how to perform the lab, how to set it up, and then how to collect the object distance. That's DO. You could see that in the flame in the frame. DO is the distance of the flame from the mirror. Okay. And the flame will be on that candle right there. So how far the candle is basically from the mirror, that's going to be DO. And then part of the procedure, after setting up is collect DO and then collect DI. All right, so the image is going to show up on that index card right there in that part of the frame, left side. And you're going to see an upside down flame on the index card. So the distance of that index card from the mirror, when you get a sharp image of the flame upside down, that is going to be DI. So we're going to run through setup first, then how to get DO, and then how to get DI. And that's what your procedure is all going to be about, okay? So let's look at setup, okay? First I laid a meter stick on the floor, and you can see on here on the right side of the stick is 0, okay? And we place, first thing we do is we place that concave mirror, the concave side facing the candle, all right? And we place it at 0 centimeters, right at the beginning of the stick, all right? Then we could place the candle, all right? So you could get a piece of aluminum foil there, and you can put a candle on it, right? And yeah, why not? We could say you're gonna light that candle. All right. And so we have our mirror placed, we have our candle placed, and then you're gonna get an index card and put it in a little stand. What I did is I cut a little piece of an eraser out and I stuck the index card vertically, and that makes our screen. All right. And you could see right now that there is an upside down image of the flame on that screen. So that's what you want to look for. Alright, so we ran through setup, how to set up the index card, the candle, the meter stick, and the mirror. Now we're going to describe how to collect DO, okay? So you want to put your candle somewhere beyond the focal point so you can get a real image. So I think our focal point is going to show up around 20 on the stick, around here. All right. So we have to put our candle behind 20 centimeters. All right. And then measure DO. How far is the candle from the screen? Well, I'm looking at it right now, and it's somewhere between 30 and 40, and if you look real close, it's at about 36. The candle's at about 36, so I'm going to write that down. DO, that is the distance of the candle from the mirror, 36 centimeters. All right. Now, DI is where it gets a little tricky, okay? So you can't just say, oh, measure how far the index card is from the mirror. First, you have to say, move the index card back and forth. Like here, it looks like a blob on that screen, basically. Okay? You have to move it back and forth until you find the right distance to put the index card. How do you know you have the right distance? You're going to see an upside down flame on the index card. Oh. So you can see I've gone too close because it looks like a blob again. Got to move it back a little bit now. And you could tell you have an upside down flame on it that is sharp because you could blow on the candle and you could see the image go back and forth just like the candle does. Watch this. And when you see the image behave just like the flame does, but upside down, you know, in the middle of that sort of blob, then you have the right distance and you're allowed to measure DI. So if we look closely here, the index card with the picture on it is at about 45 centimeters when we see a sharp image of the flame upside down on it. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and write that down for you. What did we say? 45 centimeters. So remember your procedure. Use everything I said about how to set it up. All the pieces. That is the mirror, the candle, the aluminum foil, the meter stick, the screen, and then how to collect DO. That's the distance of the candle from the screen, and how to collect DI by moving it back and forth until you see a sharp image upside down on the screen. Once you see that sharp image, then you can measure DI, the distance from the card or screen to the mirror. That's what DI is, and I wrote it there. Picture of flame on card, you know, to the screen. All right. Okay, guys. So there is more than one trial. We just did one trial, and we collected DO and DI for that one trial. Your last part of the video is going to be repeat. Okay. So I'm going to zoom back out here, and let's talk about how do we repeat and get a new pair of DO and DI. Well, start by just getting that back. But really, you just have to get the candle at a different distance, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the candle forward closer to 20. And now you have a different distance, okay? So this is your repeat. You just change the position of the candle and then collect DO and DI in the same way, okay? To get DI again, you'll have to find a new image of sharp image, right? That's not a sharp image, that looks like a blob. But if you take it backwards here, right about there, you can see a pretty sharp image of the flame on that card. And then you would write down it looks at about 80 centimeters as your DI. So repeat means you move the object first and then you move the card to find a new image of the candle upside down on that card.